All right. Good afternoon. It is April 13th, 2022. And today we were really looking at um I would I would say this was a range day, but it turned out to be like a spike in channel up. So you really had to um just follow the price action and draw these short-term trend channels. And I really did not like many entries in here. We'll take a look, but you can see, look at this channel up. I didn't I didn't see anything I really liked there. So let's take a look. So we trend down in the overnight. You can see that it just really looks like there's a downward bias to this with those three consecutive three consecutive lower highs. So we then get this correction. Looks like the correction starts at about 6 o'clock. Unfortunately, no good second entry short setup in here. And this is just the first entry. I bet my bottom dollar that a lot of people went short right here on this second entry or failed second entry long, and that does look like it. So I don't think that would have gotten you a scalp. And what I would say there, 87.75, yeah, that gets you like 3 ticks. Is this is starting to look like rejection, price rejection down here, or even support is what I really mean to say. This is starting to look like support, and if you draw your channel off these highs, well, look at that. It fits off the lows. Okay, so you got to be quick. You got to be skilled at drawing these things, or else you get burnt, just like they did here. They burnt people. This looks like a failure right here, but unfortunately, it doesn't set up below or above the EMA. And in this context, with all this downward movement, you can't be going long there into the EMA like that. But this makes a new low, and you get a first entry, failed second entry right here. I marked this blue, but I should really have this as green because it doesn't set up at the EMA. And we're in an uptrend at this point. And you get a first entry, second entry right here. So I marked this thinking that was the second entry, but the second entry is right here. And I don't think you can take that. This looked a little better to me because it bounced off the EMA, but this one's just congestive and it's away from the EMA. We get a slight overshoot of the channel, and that leads to congestion, which leads to a break. Now, if you're playing this channel and you see all that, might you take this lower high? Well, I think if your signal bar is better than the one I have on my chart, I think you can take that. But it is risky. You're going into this midline. There's clearly going to be a level of support somewhere in here. I mean, it actually shot right through it, but sometimes there might be a lot of support there. So you got to be careful. This looks like a first failed second entry long to me. So I marked that red. Good price rejection in here. And unfortunately, no setups. But this, you can see these swings, we had good price rejection. But then we just formed this range. And originally I drew this range, which we broke out of and made a measured move and found some resistance. So you might go short here just to ride it back into the range. And then this right here, same thing. You might take this. This is an aggressive entry, but we're in this range. And then we fail out, counter trend. And we get some momentum, and you get a first entry, failed second entry, short right here. This kind of looks like the failure, and maybe you took this. I'm about to mark this maybe on the right there. That's a second entry long. But I think for me personally, when it bounces off these highs, I might be a little too nervous to take that, but I like this one, that failure. And that takes us all the way up here. And you can see this channel starts to fizzle out. You get a break. 2 legs up to a new high. That's actually perfect price action before we get this leg of correction. And you get a first entry, failed second entry short, but that just sets up pretty far from the EMA, so I'm not too crazy about that. Oh, let's talk about this trap here. So we do get a nice trap here. You get a first entry, second entry. I think, unfortunately, I think people who went long here, who got the scalp, just went on the engulfing bar of this. So, because I think you only get like 2 ticks right here before it drops back down. And this does look like 1 leg down. So you could think of that. This doesn't look like a second leg of correction to me. So think about that. We break this channel up. You get a leg of correction down. Again, here I think this is technically a first entry, second entry, and it traps all those people who came in too early. But this, you could probably argue this is like a double top. So first entry, second entry, that's the better. Matter of fact, I'm going to mark that. That's the better entry right there. And I think we're in new highs here from the overnight, you can see. And so now you might be thinking, okay, well, let's see where the lows are. And we make a higher low here than we did here, and we continue to bounce. So that's telling you something, and you might want to draw a trend channel. And we get a first entry, second entry up here, but it's hard to tell what's going on right now. So I don't like that that's within this short-term channel up, to be honest. Then we find some support along this channel up. And you get a first entry, second entry, it doesn't trigger. You get a higher low right here that's also a first entry, failed second entry short. So that, to me, even at the end of the day, this is hard to spot. So in real time, you might not spot that. Some people probably spotted it very easily, but for me, it doesn't look easy to spot. And all this is just too far away from any trend channel or EMA. Congestion up here, you get a first entry, failed second entry long right here, and it's also a second entry short. But at that point, we knew we were in an uptrend. So it's just, I don't know. I didn't have a great day at all on the simulator. So hopefully some of you guys had a better day, and I'll be back tomorrow.